episode of Morning Coffee and Chat. Santee's already been in here this morning. Good morning, old friend. Hope you're doing well.
Santee's already been in here this morning.
What the hell is that? I muted this.
What the hell is that? I muted this.
There we go. Now it's muted. I turned it all the way down. It's going to be one of those weird days. We are sitting at 1 degree right now with a 6 mile an hour wind. I was just getting ready to tell Santee, hope you're staying warm, bud. Because believe it or not, y'all, Arizona gets chilly. Especially at night. Especially when you're going out before sunrise to get to a filming location to do something. I mean, I don't know how they survive in that 60, 65 degree weather. Whew. You can always tell when it's cold, too. He's bundled up like a little Eskimo out in the desert. What do we got here? I cannot see today for squat, guys. It's been that way for probably the last 3 or 4 days. So it's going to be another one of those crawling onto the computer to be able to read stuff till I can find the right cord to get the 35-inch plugged into the computer. Let me see here. That's Tony. Good morning, bud. Hope you're doing well. Is it a balmy? It is a balmy 81 this morning. It just depends on where your balmy is located. If you're in Jamaica, or Mexico, California, I don't even think it's in the 80s there. Australia. It is summertime in Australia right now. Let me see here. Morning, Santee. Good to see you, bud. Yeah, it gets cold at night, but I have no complaints wearing a light shirt today. Well, that's surprising. That is surprising. That is 8. Oh, 8. I'm sorry. Not that good. Not that good. And they're saying it's going to be a year or two before they can get this disability thing rolling. Just to gather all the information and everything that they need. So, yeah. Ugh. Sorry about last week, y'all. I was down in central Indiana with the family for Thanksgiving, and my mom and dad did not want to drive up here to bring me back and visit with the wife and daughter on Sunday. Um, well, mostly because mom came down with something from that house. I think she came down with like adolescence or something because everybody there was well below half their age, 20s, 30s, except for, me. And right along Thanksgiving, she started getting it in her throat and stuff, couldn't talk, sounded like she had a mouth full of gravel. And that lasted up until Sunday morning. And she got up, was able to sit out at the table and talk and actually be understood. She wasn't talking like this. And Monday morning, 8 o'clock, 8:30, left Central Indiana, got up here right about 11:30. So, oh, but it was rough. Sleeping in a strange bed, no fan on at night, no TV on. It was strange. Um, Let me see here. Come on, I work. Um, Leaning in, leaning in. Come on. Hey, good morning, Sean. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're holding up over there in the wild west of western Illinois. Morning, y'all. Just heading off to work. Can't chat much at all. However, I hope y'all have a great day and God bless. Thank you, bud. You too. Uh, it's cold. It's cold. I don't know what it is over there where y'all are at, but we're sitting at 1 degree right now, with a with a northeasterly wind at 6 mile an hour. So yeah, it's a wee bit nipply out there, just a wee bit. Cold but hanging in there. It's all we can do. Turn up the heat in the house just a little bit and wear something warm. Sorry, you gotta go through all that disability paperwork again. Look at all the trouble in here. Oh, it's Justin. I'm already sick of snow. That's all right, Santee. I knew it was going to be that way. The really sad thing is the fact that, you know, ever since Grandma passed, I've been working, and I worked back before the diabetic shock and stuff like that, and I have to lose my job and file for unemployment to realize that I had an employer who never filed taxes on me. Illegal? Yes. Hard to prove? Yes. Very hard to prove because when unemployment contacted them to verify my employment, of course I didn't work there. But you guys remember me working at the teeny tiny little restaurant down by the lake before I worked at the bar. Now you know how teeny tiny restaurant owners become millionaires because they don't file taxes on people. They say I was short 5 months on getting my unemployment, and I went over it with my lawyer, um, for 20 minutes the other day, and they said, well, yeah, you have, according to Social Security, you have, a postal extrusion back in 2016, and you have this little twirl, and you have, the bar and grill, and you have the brewery. And but the twirl doesn't have any record of you working there. Aha. Aha. So, yeah, got denied for unemployment. So we're sitting around, you know, struggling again, trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet until the disability thing comes around. Let me get back in here. How you doing, Justin? Good to see you, bud. I'm already sick of snow. I'm loving the snow. I think the snow is absolutely beautiful. I'm not loving this 1 degree BS, but I'm loving the snow. You know, it's actually colder here than it is in Norway, and they're like 500 miles further north than we are, and it's colder here than it is in Norway. I'm always talking about Vikings and stuff. I guess I'm gonna live it now. Me too. Good morning. Um, um, Good morning, Sarah. Good to see you, sweetie. Okay, wait, Tony. What's the twirl? Zombie gunslinger. Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing good. Good morning. Sarah, the twirl was a little teeny tiny restaurant um, that I first started working at like 4 years ago, right after Grandma passed away. It's down here at the lake. It's just a teeny tiny little thing, but they've been in business like 35 or 40 years, and probably the most popular restaurant in town for being the size. Um, I would say total size of the restaurant is a little bit less than this house. I mean, they have got a teeny tiny little dining room about 12 feet wide and 30 feet long. Uh, the whole kitchen space is right there behind the counter, and then you've got a storage area and a prep area in the back. If I had to guess, I would say the whole bloody thing is I, I I would go as far as saying less than 900 square feet. But they have been in business for 10 years, shy of half a century. Um, and they've always been real good about food. The guy that owns it now, his dad used to own it. He opened it, and he was the kind that if he had 20 people, 4 different groups show up at one time, he would cook one order at a time. And even though people had to wait for their food, people loved that personal, you know, like I said, if he had 4 groups show up and each group had 5 people, and his first group all wanted double cheeseburgers with fries, then he would cook only those 5 double cheeseburgers and drop those fries. He wouldn't cook all 4 groups at one time. So now it's now it's like mass production. When I worked down there, I seen the time we had 40 hamburger patties on the grill at one time because they wanted to get people in and out as fast as they could. During the summer months, it is not unusual to see, hell, I've seen 80 or 100 people going out both doors into the parking lots, trying to feed their way in to get food. So, yeah, busy place. My kids are off school today. 33 degrees and snow. Not bad. Yep. Mine is actually out of school today. She's supposed to go to Kalamazoo or go to Grand Rapids to a weight specialist to figure out why, at almost 6 feet tall, she is still losing weight, even though she is eating properly and sleeping properly. And, we already know it's not the thyroid thing because that's what got all this started a year ago. October 1st was going to have her thyroid checked out and then finding out that she was type 1 diabetic. So, but she actually gained like 12 pounds and then lost it again. So, yeah, we need to figure out what's going on with her weight because she's taller than me and her mom, and she weighs about as much as my leg. And before anybody gets the thought, in their head about, no, she does not run to the bathroom or anything after she's eaten. I mean, the kid's a gamer, for God's sake. You got to set the couch on fire to get her off of it, and then she waits till the flames hit the cushion she's sitting on. So yeah, she eats and doesn't, there's no eating disorder involvement there. Let's put it that way. She's just burning food like crazy. Oh, let me see here. I blame the damn Canadians. Zombie. Damn. 13. Minus 13 wind chill. Just lurking. Lurking's good. I've been known to do that a few times. I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind not being able to gain weight. The not being able to gain weight thing, I can agree with. I really wouldn't mind that myself. But at the same time, when you're 17 years old and 6 feet tall and weigh less than 90 pounds, um, yeah, gets a little frightening when you're a parent not being able to figure this stuff out. And we automatically thought thyroid because grandma had an underactive thyroid. That she was on thyroid medicine for years, and doctor said nope, her thyroid's testing good, but she's a type 1 diabetic, so you might want to have this checked out. It's like I tell the kid, she goes outside in a high wind, her butthole's going to whistle. Air's going to go right in her belly button and come out her butt. Let me see here. I lost 2 more pounds my last doctor visit, 2 more, and I have to start looking into the issue, according to my doctor. I'd be okay with that. Uh, oh, as you guys can see, if you did not read the most recent community post, we are doing the Secret Santa thing again. It's going to be much easier this year. Um, the Log Cabin Museum. Everybody that's watched my videos is familiar with it. We done two investigations there summer before last, and it has some very rare stuff in it. Has some very rare stuff in it. Um, we've got one of four freedom aprons from the Civil War um, down here, and it was found in an attic here local. When people were cleaning out, they found it and donated it to the museum. But this whole year with the expansion project on the beach and stuff, they've had the beach is actually going to run up to or just past the museum, which is located south from where our beach was put in a few years ago. And they've had that whole area blocked off and barricaded this summer for equipment coming in and out, dropping sand, cutting down um, all the cattails and stuff along the beach line. So that the museum has not been open at all. And that museum has no funding. It is funded strictly through visitors and donations. The museum board is just a collection of um, very well-to-do individuals who just want to be able to say, hey, I'm on a board for this or I'm on a board for that. They donate no money. A lot of the items that are in the museum, especially the Freedom Apron, is slowly rotting away. There's no regulated heat and cold in there. There's nothing protecting a lot of the fabric items and the old papers and stuff like that. And they could have very easily put in a furnace system a few years ago when I was more involved with the museum, but didn't. I mean, the, the cheapest furnace system they could have put in was only 8 grand, and a lot of these people sitting on this board of like 12 people um, uh, buy and sell shoes that cost that much. And yeah, they didn't care enough to try to protect this stuff. But being who I am and how I feel about history, and especially that little museum, now that I'm not working anymore, I'm thinking very seriously about putting my name in the hat uh, to work at the museum, to run the museum. So, because the woman that used to, dear sweet beautiful Marcia, is up there in her late 80s now and not able to do it. So, yeah, um, I could very proudly become a museum curator. Wouldn't hurt me one bit. But that's where all the donations are going um, this year for the Secret Santa. Is they're going to protect the museum. Like I said, yearly, any repairs and stuff done to the museum is done out of the donations. And since it went all summer long with no donations, that means there won't be any repairs or upkeep and stuff done to it. Um, So, yeah, that's the deal this year. We're not going for individual families or anything else. We're going for 100-plus-year-old log cabin uh, that the community came together to build back in the 1920s. And the funny thing about that museum, one of the things that makes it so important is each and every log, every piece of lumber that came into that museum to build it is cut on the farms of the founding families of this town. Each log is numbered, and there's a book in the museum that tells you the corresponding founding family farm that those numbers came from. So, yeah, there's a lot of history just in the lumber of that place. Let me see here. Bloody eye. I lost. Oh, according to. I think I'll be okay with that. I am okay with it. But my doc, not so much. I get it when you're home. It's different. You should be careful with volunteering for stuff that could be seen by disability folk to see as work. Please ignore that extra to see. Um, well, now see, here's the deal. Curator for the museum is an unpaid position. So I could go down there and sit 10 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it's not work. It's an unpaid position. Marcia was a curator there for 20 years, 15 years, and never made a penny. So, believe me, I've thought about it. We're still hoping, fingers crossed, that come January, when the early enrollment thing comes up on the insurance, that I can still get insurance. Um, my Christmas present from mom and dad. They want me to have at least one eye back. So, and, be able to afford my medication for the diabetes and get back on my blood clot medicine and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, um, that's what we're hoping for right now, is to be able to get back um, on that insurance thing and get at least this eye taken care of uh, early this next year. Just there are jobs that are smaller to curation. Well, I would normally, and you know for a fact, Tony, that normally I would agree with you, but curator at this museum is sitting at a desk welcoming people in, and that's about all the curator does. You sit at a desk and, hi, welcome to the the Cass County Log Cabin Museum. And if you have any questions, please ask. If you want to know the history of the museum, there's a book over here on this rack that explains the history and why it came about, and the fact that it was not originally built to be a museum. It was actually built to be a meeting place um, for Founders Day Festival, and that lasted 1 year. And it was suggested that it become a museum. And well, a year after it was built, that's what it became. So, but if you have any questions, please come up here to the desk and poke me with a stick because I probably won't see you. Um, oh, wow. I think it would be pretty cool to be a museum curator, but I definitely have to have a paid position. Oh, that's awesome. Can you not get Medicaid? I'll come back to that question in just a second. You could sit in a wheelchair and greet at Walmart. Yeah, well, Walmart is not within walking distance. The museum is. And don't forget, Drew don't drive because uh, that would be making Drew a 3,000 pound unguided missile. Um, don't matter what the specific duties are, it is what they think they are. You are missing the whole point. Okay, well, let's let's just point it out this way and end this before we have a disagreement. Marsha's been on disability for since before she started there, and they never give her any guff. So I'll be going through the exact same office that she goes through over in Benton Harbor, and yeah, that's the whole reason I thought about taking the position was because it's a lazy position according to disability because she had disability coming in before she ever took the position because of her skeletal. I don't even know what's wrong, but she's always had a very hard time walking, very painful hard time walking, and she had disability before she ever took the position as curator. Um, Now, what was that question I was going to? Medicaid. Uh, did Sarah ask that question? That looks like a S. Okay, Medicaid. If you guys will remember, back in 2016 when all this crap started, um, wife and I got married on the 25th of June, went to the lake on the 4th of July. I took one drink of beer, got sick, laid down on the picnic table seat, and slept the whole time the family celebrated the 4th of July. They had to get me up, take me to the car, or help me to the car because I felt very woozy, very ill. But they helped me to the car, got me home, and on the 5th of July, I woke up and I couldn't move. Wife tried to get me to the truck. She couldn't carry me. She wound up having to call an ambulance. Um, and that's when it all started. But when they got me up to the hospital that I stayed at, they put me on Medicaid. Um, and Anyway, I was on Medicaid for 7 years. No issues, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, they, much like a lot of other people in the country that really need it, because I don't have 7 kids by 7 different daddies, and you know, ride the system, and I never collected food stamps or anything else. Um, they canceled it. They canceled it. The same as they canceled the daughter's insurance, Medicaid, here just a couple months ago. Um, just they all of a sudden said, "Oh, you make too much money." How? We make less than we did when you put us on it. How do we how do we make too much money? Well, according to our computers under the new um, administration, you make too much money. Of course, at that time it was the Biden administration, um, but now it's even worse. But yeah, they canceled mine, and then earlier this summer canceled the daughters. So we had to go back to all these doctors and stuff like that and try to find medication for her that was covered by her mom and her father's insurances. Um, and, I'm still sitting here without all my medicines and, no insurance. But Blue Cross is coming around in less than a month. But yeah, that's the whole Medicaid thing. I tried to reapply, and they just kept saying, well, you make too much money. And it's like, how do we make too much money? When you gave me the insurance, we had $2,800 more a month coming in the house, and one more person. And you guys offered us food stamps, and I turned them down. Now, all these years later, that $2,800 extra has been ripped away from the household, and there's one less person living here, and we make too much money now but didn't then. How can you make too much money when you live paycheck to paycheck? I mean, especially now that I'm not working. I mean, literally, when we pay everything on those months when everything has to be paid, we do not have $200 left at the end of the month, but you make too much money. Of course, part of that would probably come from the fact that, you know, the tribal affiliation with the casino that the wife works at is making it mandatory that she carries insurance on the daughter as well, even though the court only ordered the father to carry insurance on her. The the uh, the tribal court has ordered her to carry insurance too, and that insurance is $400 a month. So Yeah. All right, let me get back into this again. It is not about what Drew can do. It is about what they think you can do. I'm just a mouse in my house. I just, I just a mouse in my house. Do you mean you saw a mouse in your house, or you consider yourself to be a mouse in your house? Lay down on the couch and tell me about it. Do you see yourself to be a mouse? Small, unheard of, at times a nuisance? Or did you see a mouse in your house? Small, sometimes unheard of, a nuisance? It's okay. I mean, I'm a minister, and I can counsel and things. So, counsel, advise, listen, and sometimes that's what I'm very good at, is just listening. So please make yourself comfortable, take off your shoes, recline, and tell me about your mouse issue. Um, there is a difference. Having disability is different than getting disability. They don't follow recipients unless someone turns them in. Applicants, however, different story. Yes, that I do agree with. No, I get when I had Brooklyn, I was in college and working part time, and I only qualified for $100 in food stamps, but she did have Medicaid. It was hard. Yeah, I have to cover insurance on both of my kids and pay the co-pays and deductions, and I pay around the same month through my work. Oh, not I have. Oh, no, I have a mouse in the house. Um, you ain't doing so good at listening to at what I am telling you. My, and it is twice I repeated an idea in a sentence. No, I'm actually listening. I'm listening. I'm hearing. I'm not doing anything until after. Um, I'm not doing anything definite until after the disability thing. I'm not taking any chances. The one nice thing about living in a small town, in a small county, is our um, how can I explain this? Um, Several of the people from um, Health and Human Services and disability and stuff like that live in the county. As a matter of fact, all of them that work there live in the county, and several of them live here, being the county seat. Um, so, being in a town this size, they see me attempting to move around, especially And you guys will see it this coming Friday with our first holiday video. Um, the whole second half of the video is our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and you know, it's all about Christmas tradition. But I seen several of them uptown. They seen me happen to be guided to walk, um, trying to film, you know, stuff like that. So um, they know that everyday existence is a challenge. You know, I'll trip over a table and a chair, but just getting out of this room when the live stream's over. And you see how much light is here. I mean, I got what, a 80-watt bulb, 60-watt bulb, something like that up there. Just looking at it blinded me. But yeah, and you get out into our living room where we have no overhead light and stuff like that. I'm tripping over cats. I'm tripping over rugs. If anything's been moved, cat toys. We got this huge spring the cats can crawl through. I get my foot stuck in it all the time because they rolled all over the place. And yeah, I'm tripping over it. Or dragging it into the next room stuck on my leg. But yeah, I'm not taking any chances getting the disability. You know, the wife just told me last night that, you know, if it's going to take a year, 2 years, or longer to get this disability thing, we have to come up with a plan B. You know, just once, she would like to be able to have enough money left over at the end of the month to not worry about a holiday, not worry about bringing food in the house, even maybe have our first date in 2 years. You know, go somewhere for dinner or see a movie in the theater or something, you know. So, you know, and I can agree with her. I can agree with her. Um, damn, that is twice. Ugh. But anyway, get off this, get off this damn heavy stuff. We're supposed to be having some fun in here. You know, I hope you guys have got your coffee. I do. I figured out how to sleep longer too. I didn't get in bed, or I didn't get out of bed until after 7 a.m. You know, not even an hour before this stream was supposed to start. The key: stay up till after midnight. Okay, here, spoon, powdered creamer. You know, this stuff has two of the three ingredients of gunpowder in it. Santee, if you're still here, you'd be able to confirm this. Anybody that hunts would be able to confirm. Anybody that hunts black powder. This stuff has 2 of the 3 ingredients of gunpowder in it. The only thing it's missing is charcoal. If you take an open flame and take a handful of that and sprinkle it over the flame, you'll get a fireball that shoots up off your flame. I actually learned that a long time ago, and when I'm doing a reenactment or something and I'm doing storytelling for the crowd, powdered creamer is the best pyrotechnic shocker that you can use. You can't just throw it in the fire, you got to sprinkle it over the fire. And it's just like gasoline, the fire will follow it up until it ends. Oh, goodness. I'm actually kind of glad that I was gone for Thanksgiving, especially since the wife tested positive for the big C the day that I left. So I left early in the morning. She came home from work that Wednesday before Thanksgiving feeling like crap and took a test and tested positive. So the 5 days I was gone was the 5 days that, but anymore they just treat it like the flu. She still went to work. They didn't make her wear a mask. They still let her interact with the crowds and stuff. Um, Even though this thing is still continuing to mutate, and they don't know which version of it is going to be debilitating or what. Um, I guess it's the nice thing about being a sovereign nation and not having to follow um, any of the laws of, labor relations or anything else. You can make your own rules up when it comes to health and safety and labor and everything else. And yeah, they told her, nope, 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 nope. You're all plugged up. You can't taste anything. You're sick. Go on, come to work. Nope, no reason to wear a mask. You're fine. Customers don't like that. They want to see your face. So yeah, go on, come in. So needless to say, by the time I got home, she looked like stomped crap, but she felt better. She just looked like stomped crap because she hadn't slept in 5 days. But she, yeah, so much better. Let me see here. Good morning. Crap, I can't see who that is. Damn my eye. I need an eye transplant. Anybody have an extra eye laying around they don't need? I don't care if it's the same color as mine. Steven, good morning, bud. Hope you're doing good. Hey, Andrew on my stream Tuesday afternoon. I'll try to send a link on StreamYard and see if that works. Do not send the link on StreamYard. That's what I was trying to explain to you last night. I'm more than happy to come on your live stream and talk about the History Channel, about the paranormal thing. I'm more than happy to come on to anybody's live stream and sit and talk about stuff. But yeah, definitely click on when you go to when you're on your StreamYard and you got it up and running. You'll see a little thing for invite guests. Click on that. Copy that link. It'll show a link. Just click on that, copy it, and then open my messenger up and paste that link in my messenger. And then that way I can get my camera and everything hooked up, get my headphones plugged in, click on the link here, and it'll put me right there backstage on your StreamYard. And you can just click on me, and I'll be right there beside you on the StreamYard. Okay, Drew, I'm going to look into that. I got a big container of the stuff and a bag of Kingsford. You know, there was a day when I could actually read the ingredients on that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a chemical derivative of saltpeter and um, some kind of sulfate. I don't remember. But yeah, it's those two ingredients. And I wish I had my little candle burning here. I don't even have anything to lay out to keep the mess from occurring. Because I do have my little candle. But yeah, I would have to hold it like right here and sprinkle it. And in frame, it would actually burn the hair off my fingers. I mean, the fireball would shoot yay high out of it. So, um, Drew and folks, good morning, TJ. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Funny how that COVID thing works. Oh, yeah, real funny how it works. Good morning, folks. Who is that? Barnaby, good to see you. Hope you're doing good this morning, bud. Um, Lady C, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. I wouldn't try and make black powder. I have more than enough smokeless here, and risk is too great. Let's see. I wouldn't. You you guys are going to have to sell that place sometime soon so you can move to your cabin. Yeah, I wouldn't take the garage off that place just yet. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's okay to put a candle or something in the middle of your garage floor and sprinkle some over the top of it just to get the effect. But yeah, I wouldn't try mixing up black powder yet. And you guys have got real lucky if you have plenty of smokeless down there because, you know, since what, 2022, 2023, when everybody quit buying up all the brass that was delivered at these sporting goods stores, now they've turned to buying up all the powder that shows up at these gun shops and sporting goods stores. Used to be I could go out and buy a bottle of Pyrodex with ease, any size granule that I wanted. And now you go to the gun stores or the sporting goods stores, There is no powder. It is bought by the case the second they unload it off the trucks. So I mean, people are still preparing for, the possibility of anything. um, I just celebrated my 47th birthday. Well, happy birthday, young lady. I did not realize it was, we were close to your birthday. Then again, I guess we've never talked about it in the past because when I find out about birthdays, I always try to write them down if I can find a damn calendar to write them on. Um, but happy birthday! You've got 10 years to catch up to me. Better start moving. I'm not going to go through this old person crap alone. I need somebody at my side to help guide me through because not only am I going to be old, but I'm probably going to be blind, and I don't want to, I don't want to trip over anything and miss moving into the light when the time comes. So I guess that light's not open very long, and my luck, I'll trip over the cat, the rug, cat toy, and I'll hit the ground, and the light will go away, and I'll be stuck here. December 3rd, not very long ago. Today's only the 8th, so 5 days. Um, yes, in this garage there is 50 pounds of gunpowder, 50,000 rounds of assorted ammo, 15 gallons of gasoline, 3 full grill propane tanks, plus assorted other flammables, so no making explosives. I don't blame you, Tony. I don't. Um, I got, I got you, Drew. Cool, cool. It's nice to have that help. Um, happy belated birthday. So it's present or invite. Yeah, invite. Yeah, if this garage catches fire, there is no stopping that one. No, nope. Not only is there no stopping it, um, but I doubt, quite honestly, that you're going to be able to run far enough, fast enough when that small yield explosion goes off and makes all the trees around your property look like a sunflower, when they just kind of fall over in opposite directions or get blown over in opposite directions. This is going to be the Illinois version of Chernobyl when it goes off. Little woodland creatures 100 yards away are going to be standing there looking at your house, and just all of a sudden, all their hair is going to get blown off, and like I said, the trees are just going to open up like a sunflower. Yep. Ever get a fire in that garage? The only thing you're going to have time to do is bend over and kiss your butt goodbye. Well, the 3 propane tanks are that would explode. Smokeless gunpowder is not. No, it's not explosive. It's not explosive, but believe you me, when the plastic container catches fire, you just have this woof of a fireball that pops up. So, well, it's more like a. I've actually, back when gunpowder was aplenty, I have, you know, used gunpowder on my fires and actually made trails of gunpowder. That was my big thing with Grandma. The boom would always scare her when I would fire off my muskets or something on like the 4th of July. But I could take gunpowder and make piles of gunpowder in the driveway and, run a trail away and light it and it would crackle up there and just. She loved the little fireballs, didn't like the boom. So I celebrated the only way I could with her. Made a ring of gravel, scooped all the gravel off a path, piled the gunpowder inside the little ring of gravel, and ran her a line away. So as soon as I lit it, I held out of there. And it would run that 4 or 5 feet, hit that pile, and crackle, 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 woof. Um, I'm just glad that I got to spend 5 days with my kids from the Wednesday before Thanksgiving through that following Monday. We celebrated my son's 14th birthday, Thanksgiving, and my birthday. That's cool. That's cool. I too, I was away from for Wednesday previous to Thanksgiving until Monday with my sister and her husband and my mom and dad down in central Indiana. And it was definitely fun. I saw my son, I saw my grandkids, I saw my nephew and niece, my niece's son, Jackson. My nephew and his girlfriend are expecting their first. I got to meet her for the first time, and several people that I've just heard of but never had a chance to meet. So it was actually very cool being away. The wife had to work on Thanksgiving, so they weren't doing anything here. She made a turkey on Friday and sweet potatoes for her and the daughter. Went to bed and got right up again on Saturday morning. Went back to work. So, because she had to work that weekend, or she would have missed out on those Thanksgiving holiday pay. So, now of course, Christmas will be a little different because where she works at, you choose which holiday you want off. You either want Thanksgiving off or you want Christmas off. And Christmas will fall on a Thursday this year, so she'll be off on Tuesday, work on Wednesday, be off on Thursday and Friday, and go back to work on Saturday. So, I'm just hoping and praying she don't have to work until midnight on Christmas Eve, which is her normal Wednesday thing, because then I'm going to have to do all the preparing for Christmas morning by myself. And I'll still be doing it when she gets home at almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So, all the wrapping and separating and trying to see I'm doing. Make sure I don't, wrap cat toys up for the granddaughters and, crap like that. Not that there's going to be a lot of Christmas, but, Still. Oh, still getting folks in here. Who dat? The Bud Files. Good morning, Bud Files. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Aside for carry ammo, that is all here on my desk. Um, Hi, Bud Files. Good morning. Bud Files doing all right. Um, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry, guys. That left eye is super bad. Has been for the last couple days. If you're just joining us, you're going to spend a lot more time looking at the top of my stocking cap and hearing me mumble because I have to lean way in to see the comments or who's commenting. You know, if you've ever dealt with this type of eye issue before, you know the little floater in front of your eye. Sometimes it's really, really bad. Sometimes it's down low. Sometimes it's up high. There's always some kind of a haze, but yeah, most of the time it's like right there. And these last few days has been a right there kind of situation. The wife is still not used to it, which is very frustrating for me because, like, on Saturday night when we were out at our Christmas festival, Christmas tree lighting, I was trying to film, and her sister and uh, her nephew and the daughter would get all caught up in the lights and the caroling and the elf hunt, things like that, and they would just walk off and leave me. And you know, I was real, I was getting very angry. Um, and then I realized, you know, there's still stuff to shoot. There's still stuff to see, to film. So I'm just going to stand in this location until hopefully they walk back by. Um, Very rarely did that happen, but still, you know, I managed to get pretty much everything. Um, at night, bright lights shining all around. So, you know, I'm sitting here trying to walk down a half snow covered. For those of you that didn't know, we got about 18 inches of snow over last weekend. It has snowed a few times through the week. And, you know, the city has ran its little bobcat down the sidewalks to get them cleared off, but it has snowed again. It has been windy. So there was still snow. So I was trying to see things. When I left uptown to walk the 2 blocks down to the Christmas tree lighting, I actually walked out in the street because I knew it was somewhat pretty much clear. So you'll see in the video when it comes out Friday evening where I'm actually walking down the center of the street to the Christmas tree lighting, and you'll see the sidewalks and everything. So you know, I was trying not to bump into people, hit little kids with my camera rig. Um, it was interesting. It was fun, but it was interesting. My wife would make the absolute worst seeing eye dog, um, because she's paying so much attention to all the festivities and stuff going around. She would have walked me right out into traffic. So, yeah, I don't know if that's because, honestly, looking at the festivities or the fact that, with this recent insurance change at work, she's finally able to get life insurance on me. So I'm actually worth more to her dead than I am alive. Um, she was able to she was able to get 170,000 on me. So that might be the reason that she was leaving me alone, so I might get hit by a car or something. Um, but you guys know me. It takes a lot to, you know. Last year I fell. Last winter I fell in the construction zone uptown walking to work. I've almost got hit crossing the intersection uptown walking to work multiple times, and luck always seems to be on my side. So her luck, I would get hit by a car and the roads be icy, and I just slide down the road for like, a block and a half, and then come to a stop and walk right out of the intersection. Um, I'm good, thank you. Tell her to read the fine print before she kills your ass. Oftentimes, life insurance won't cover for a couple of years. I guarantee she didn't read the fine print, but that's okay. 18 after 9. Oh, if you guys will excuse me, I'm going to make a real quick run to the outhouse and take care of some business. Something about a horse. I don't know. But talk, real nice amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in just a second. Anybody new pops in, welcome them with open arms, give them a kiss, you know, make them feel welcome, and I'll come back and ruin it all when I get back. Oh. Oh. Okay. Be right back. Time to get food. Definitely get your food. I have to eat myself sometime this morning. What to eat? Hmm. Don't eat tomato soup, so that's definitely out of the question. Might have a can of chicken and dumplings in there somewhere. We got from a food pantry. Hard telling how old it is, but hey, when in doubt, add milk. Um, Time to start cooking food. Glad I caught the stream this morning. I am too, TJ. I am too. I made tomato soup with condensed milk last week. It was terribly sweet. Oh, yeah, anything with condensed milk. My God. Most of the recipes that we run across on like TikTok or something, they use condensed milk a lot with desserts and stuff like that because of how sweet it is. Uh, it's like, my God, you know, we very seldom ever use condensed milk, but some of the things they're wanting you to put condensed milk in, if you don't got diabetes, you'll get it. 2026 is going to be see new changes. Oh, amen to that. Yeah, I forgot about condensed milk being so damn sweet. Yeah, yeah, it's terrible. Uh, I mean, don't get me wrong. In certain recipes, um, it's not too awful bad, but there are some things that call for condensed milk and a buttload of sugar and things like that. And it's like, oh my God. It's terrible. Um, Tickled the wife last night though. I told her we were sitting there watching TV about an hour and a half after dinner. It's 10 till 10. We're watching TV, and I'm like, man, I am in the mood for something sweet. I do not want to sit around and munch on pretzels, and I want something sweet. And I walked out in the kitchen, and I'm like, I yelled at the daughter to come and turn the oven on for me on 350. The wife come walking out. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making something." She said, "You can't see to make something." I said, "Yeah, I can." I said, "I don't have to be able to see. All I got to do is be able to feel." And she just kind of looked at me all curious. She goes, "What are you making?" I said, "I'm going to make a blind man's apple crisp." She said, "What is a blind man's apple crisp?" I said, "Watch." And I walked over to the box of canned goods we still had from the food pantry last month that won't fit in our pantry. And I'm pulling the cans out, and I'm looking at them, I'm putting them on the table, and finally I run across those two cans. Now, understand, Normally I would not be able to read the cans, but they gave us 2 cans of apple pie filling, and the labels had come off, so they made labels and just wrote in big bold marker apple pie filling. So I grabbed them, took them to the counter, pulled out the round casserole dish, got some brown sugar out of the tin and some oats, and melted some butter in a mixing bowl in the microwave. Put, what I thought was the appropriate amount of oats and brown sugar in with the butter, stirred it up real good. Used the electric can opener because there's no way in hell my blind butt would have been able to find a manual can opener in that drawer of keeping. Um, for those of you that aren't gamers, there is a bag of holding in Dungeons and Dragons that has no bottom to it. You can keep anything in it. And that is what this drawer is. It is a drawer of holding that if I reached far enough down into it, I would probably find a KitchenAid mixer in this drawer. There's just tons of stuff in it. So I got the electric can opener, felt around, found the blade on it, clamped it down on those 2 apple pie things, um, opened them up, dumped them in this round casserole dish, mixed up this oat, brown sugar, butter um, monstrosity that went on top of it. And when it was all said and done, dumped it on top of the apples and kind of packed it down, stuck it in the oven for about 25 minutes just to, melt the sugar and get everything all constituted into a topping, heat the apples up, and pulled it out, waited for about a half hour for it to get somewhat cooled down, and ate it, and this stuff was good. Wasn't very sweet, but it was good. It took care of that God, I want something sweet feeling. I once, I forgot about, oh, okay, I once made pumpkin pie with condensed milk, and it wasn't good. But I am thinking about trying condensed milk in coffee. It's gonna be sweet, but it's definitely gonna kill the bitter. You don't got to worry about putting sugar in it, and the condensed milk should take care of the sweetening and the lightening of it. So you won't have to worry about using creamer or sugar, just a little bit of condensed milk. And it shouldn't be bad, but I would go very sparingly on it, as thick as it is. Something tells me you put very much condensed milk in coffee, it's going to be like eating a tub of icing. Want a different apple pie mix in a bag of caramel squares in the pie filling. Oh yeah, definitely. Nothing beats caramel apple. Um, but the really cool thing about this stuff was that the apple pie filling was not overly sweet, and I didn't put enough brown sugar in the topping to make it super sweet. I could have used another half stick of butter to help, get everything mixed together. But it was not bad. I mean, it was just sweet enough to kick that God, I want something sweet thing, but not overly sweet to where I was not able to go to sleep or anything. Do do. I have got to sit down today and figure out how to take the videos that I make and then change the size of them so I can start advertising again because I've completely forgotten how I used to do it. Um, Start advertising again on TikTok and Instagram. Um, our growing thing is starting to really it's slowing down, and I need to figure out less people are using this platform and they're using X, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. And I think it's just a wave that happens, like on the Paranormal Papa channel. I'll put up a video, or I'll put up one of the episodes of the Paranormal Papa podcast, which, by the way, we just done episode 17 of. And a lot of you aren't watching them. But yeah, definitely go over and check out Paranormal Papa Investigations channel. Um, it's not all paranormal. Um, we actually on last Friday night's episode we had a skeptic on, a professional scientific paranormal investigator slash skeptic, and that was interesting. That was interesting. Actually made some really good points I'd never thought of. But yeah, I need to figure out how to resize this stuff and start advertising on there again. Because I mean, I've noticed with that channel, an episode of the podcast or a paranormal flashback video will get numerous views, and then the next one might only get 7 or 8, and then the next one numerous views. So yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, kind of weird. I have noticed, however, that most of our viewers, like 78% of our viewers, aren't even subscribed. They just know what days I post the videos on, and they come to check it out. It's those subscribers slash thumbs up slash comments that get your videos pushed out on YouTube more. Um, just the views, eh, they definitely help, but it's the sharing out to other people. It's the interaction. It's the thumbs up. It's the comments. That is what gets your. So I don't know if a lot of you guys realize it or not, but YouTube's got this really squirrely way of sharing out videos. Like when you post a video within the 2 hours of the premiere of that video, it only goes out to like 30 or 40 people, 50 people, 100 people, depending upon, the algorithm. If it does well with that first 2 hours, then the next 2 or 3 hours, it goes out to, let's say, 200 people or 300 people. But it's not just released on the main channel. It takes over 24 hours of your video being live for it to go out to the entire community, and that is in a series of 4 or 5 releases. But if it does really good with the interaction the first 2 hours, then it goes out to more people. If it does good with that interaction, with interaction in that time period, it goes out to more people. So yeah, definitely the more comments, the more thumbs up, the more views, the more everything, they all work together to push your video out more. So that's what I'm really working on now is getting that interaction, those thumbs up, the comments, stuff like that on all of our videos. Oh, it went out again. Crap. Um, buh, 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 but make best apple pie I've ever made. Yeah, when I made apple pies at first, I made the filling, but I buy filling now. I don't eat them. I grew up with a family that never used canned stuff, but I don't trust me with a sharp knife now, um, because there's going to be bits and pieces in whatever I make that people don't want to eat, and I'm not going to put them through that trauma. So, yeah, especially with no depth perception. That's why I rely on my hands more than anything. And it's God's way of seriously teasing you when He gives you neuropathy, so you don't feel things as closely as you should. So I was trying to do dishes yesterday, and I tried to move a pot handle around to pick it up off the stove and almost knocked a skillet off, because I couldn't see that the handle was hitting the handle on the skillet. So as the skillet turned, it turned and moved to the edge of the oven. So that was real fun. If I didn't feel the skillet hit me right here, I probably would have dumped it right on the floor. So yeah, definitely interesting. Every day is an adventure. I thought about getting back to reenacting, but I haven't made a final decision. Be kind of cool. Hopefully, you didn't get rid of all your stuff and you still have it stored away in a closet or something. So it's going to be a little easier for you to get into it again than a lot of people who decide they're done with it and then sell everything and then regret it and want to get back into it. You got to go out and spend all that money again finding stuff. Reenacting is an expensive hobby. Getting started is expensive. Going and doing is not all that expensive. I mean, especially if you don't, cook a 4-course meal and stuff like that. Like the Ren Fair every May. I'm going more and more and more Viking each year. So I don't buy anything special. I just take what's in the freezer to eat. If it's going to be like ungodly hot, I don't even take anything to really cook. I take lunch meat and bread, and that's about the extent of it. Maybe once in a while, some beef jerky or something. Of course, I always take my bacon. Um, and now that I know my brother-in-law works for U.S. Foods, and I can get 15-pound boxes of bacon for like $45, um, if they even charge me for them. But I always make bacon jerky, smoked bacon every morning that I'm there over the fire, and that's what I'll munch on up until dinner time. So, let me see. Um, yeah, I have a lot invested in the I know, Tony. I've got too much invested over the past few years. Just here in Missouri, there isn't a lot of reenactments to do, mostly Civil War and Bushwhacker are not called for anymore. I never got into Civil War stuff. I could never understand how we had to kill so many men and destroy the South. I didn't get rid of anything, actually gained more after. Be right back again. Food should be hot. There you go. Yeah, it's funny how that works. You know, I've not done a Civil War event in, what, 2 years? But I still have people getting a hold of me asking me if I want to get their Civil War stuff because I've always been a believer that, you always carry extra in case somebody comes out and wants to try it. You can outfit them and they can spend the day or even the weekend out there trying it out without investing anything. And, you might create a new reenactor or spike a new interest with somebody at one of those events. I've carried dresses with me, I've carried uniforms, I've carried civilian clothes, never had extra weapons to carry. Um, but I've always carried extra clothes. I've tried to carry shoes, though, you know, most of those events, as long as the person's, somewhat close to your shoe size, they can wear a pair of your boots or something, and the girls just run around barefoot. Any excuse they can find to take to let their piggies wiggle in the grass, I guess. But it's much like I've told them too. Those dresses drag the crown, so if you just want to wear your tennis shoes, no one's going to say anything. It's not like you're going to be out in the middle of the field putting on a show. You're going to be back at camp, sitting around, you know, hanging out with the other women folk, stuff like that. Um, I'm not a soldier. I'm a farmer. Um, Mr. Squatch, how you doing, bud? Hope you're doing good this morning, buddy. That sounds like a planning failure. Morning Squatch. Always carry extra weapons. Well, I never carried extra weapons because I never had extra weapons to carry. I have zero uh, firing primitive weapons. Um, Most of what I have here now is Viking. My spears, my axes, uh, my socks. I almost carved a turkey with this year. This thing's bloody razor sharp. Be honest with you, as hard as that steel is, in that thing. I could probably sink it into this helm. Thing's nasty. I accidentally ended up with extra weapons. Missouri would bring back the Confederate bushwhacker. I've got almost everything to portray Bloody Bill Anderson. I look Viking, so people give me Viking type things. Lucky dude. I would. I'm still trying to build a kit, a proper kit. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. That stuff can get expensive, especially when most of it's made over in Northern Europe at like Grimfrost and stuff like that. And I can't see to sew anymore. So when it comes to clothes, bags, anything like that, yeah, that is just money I do not have. So I'm trying to go through, all my other reenacting stuff, shirts, pants, things like that could be somewhat adapted to be used for Viking. I guess I need to look more Viking. And maybe people send me things. Bloody Bill of Andersonville be may he us. Bloody Bill of Andersonville. May he unnice things. You should be doing Odin shorts. I've actually thought about that with the eye patch and everything. I've actually thought about doing more Odin stuff. Um, and who knows? You know, I try not to have that God complex at times, but, when you're as great as I am, uh, I'm not even going to finish that. I think I have around 8 grand in my cowboy gear. He carried multiple revolvers, which I have. I have the clothes, hat. All I need is the correct saddle. More beard, more hair. Yeah, because I'm not shaving my head per se anymore, but I've got the Viking lock on top, and I'm letting it grow and just keeping everything else cut down. Um, and with the multivitamins I'm on, all that vitamin E and stuff, it should grow pretty quick. I should be able to pull it back and tie it by May. So we'll see. Not to mention, I'm gonna spend. I'll spend most of the time walking around with the helm on. The only time I'll not have it on is when I'm sitting in camp. So when I'm out doing my patrols and stuff, because I still do security out there. Um, Matter of fact, I'm head of security, and unless I bring somebody else on to help me out, I'm the only security. So I really don't even sleep that whole weekend unless it's early morning when people are setting up. Um, like I'll lay down like at 6 and get up at 9 or something because the festival opens at 10. So yeah, those 3 or 4 hours are all I get um, when I'm there in the morning. Don't tell my missus that one though. Secret safe telling. I got up this morning to get my beard trimmed. Only one barber open, an old half blind guy. Speaking of hair growing, I got my hair caught under my seat belt the other day. Yeah, it's about time to get that trimmed up, Tony. You know, you've been saying for months you were going to go in and get a haircut. This is the longest your hair's ever been, and yeah, when you start, getting your hair stuck in your zipper and in your coat zipper, or you get it stuck under your seat belt, or things like that, then yeah, it's time. Um, yeah, caught. My beard got caught in my seat belt, and I decided it had to go some. He trims by touch. I let other people trim. When I cut this in 2 weeks ago, I let the wife do it. I'm not trusting myself with a pair of walls. That thing be looking like a lightning bolt going across my head and stuff. You get me in front of a mirror in the bathroom with two lights. I don't see anything. I can barely see a shape in the haze. There is no way in hell I'm cutting my own hair. Now, I shave with my razor by feel. I could put my fingers like right here and run the razor down and not cut this up too much. Um, my throat is what worries me. I'm afraid of, like, accidentally slicing a carotid artery or something. Thank God I don't use a straight razor. It was longer when I first met the missus, but I didn't do seat belts at that time. Oh man. I have that thing where my face looks wrong to me in the mirror. So if I trim, I mess up the beard. I've tried to grow a beard, like a full beard, and it takes a lot of work because it seems like this grows faster than this. So, I have to put the extensions on the wall and run down and then try to blend this in with this, so I'm not cutting a lot of this. Now, I'll put like the smallest extension on my wall and I'll run down my mustache just to keep it out of my mouth and stuff, but not touch any of this. I've not done anything with this in uh, almost a month. Um, but yeah, I try to shave every couple days and keep this down. That way, by the time I get this down where I want it to, I can start letting this grow in a little bit, and it won't surpass this down here. But yeah, if I shave everything and let it all grow in together, my mutton chops actually grow faster than my goatee. So instead of coming down into a beard, it comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. I have a good straight razor, but don't trust myself to use it. I have to cut the facial hair about once a month. Cannot tolerate the itch. See, mine only itches for the first week or so. And then after it gets a certain length, I don't feel the itch anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, once in a while I'll get like an infected hair or an ingrown hair or something, and we got to dig for it to find the right one. But other than that, I don't have no issues growing a beard. And I'll be honest, I'm like the first member of the family that could ever grow a beard. My dad can't. My grandfather couldn't. None of his brothers did. I don't even think my great grandfather had a beard on either side. I can't shave, or my two youngest granddaughters will shy away from me. I can't shave. Really. I see my granddaughters. They recognize Papa regardless. I don't care if I got rid of this and all this and just have this, or I let the whole thing grow in, or start growing a beard, or whatever. They run right to me and want picked up and loved on um, the second they see me. I'm just hoping this crappy weather thing kind of finds a happy spot right around Christmas, because it's going to be really hard being home for Christmas and not having the grandkids and stuff here. Just being me and the wife and the daughter. Um, I don't know how the wife did it, to be honest. I had a house full of people at my sister's place where I was at for Thanksgiving, and when the wife and daughter was able to cook Thanksgiving dinner on Friday, since she had to work on Thanksgiving, it was just them. Nobody showed up. But we were in the middle of that storm, and yeah, it was. I was very, very shocked when I came home. We had 3 inches of snow in central Indiana, and I came back up here to an additional 15 inches of snow, and yeah, I understand why nobody got out and around. They only know me with about 2 weeks stubble. I don't know. Man, I kind of like the quiet Christmas morning. Out of all the holidays, I think Christmas is the one that I want a buttload of people here for Christmas morning. When I first joined this family, we all got together on Christmas Eve and done stockings and stuff like that, and then got back together Christmas morning for breakfast and unwrap presents and everything. And I got really used to, even though those first couple years I was like super sick and I didn't know if I was going to live or die. And frankly, I didn't care because dying would have relieved the discomfort. But I got very used to having several people, grandma, her mom, the wife, the daughter, the stepson, his girl, assorted other relatives that may pop in. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's the same when it's just us, maybe her mom, whatever, and then everybody would hang out and we'd have a Christmas story playing on the TV over and over and over and over again for 24 hours. So, I finally got it to the point where I started playing Christmas music on the TV in the living room and just had a Christmas story playing in the bedroom. That way, if the wife wanted to go in and watch a little bit, she could, but everybody else had Christmas music playing. Boom, boom. Um, um, don't get me wrong. I love the kids opening presents when they were little. We did the Christmas evening family gift when I was young, but that never came with me into adulthood. Huh. I I really enjoy the different traditions that families do. Not just like American traditions or Irish traditions. I like individual family traditions. Like I've been with people who do this huge white elephant gift exchange, and it's like one person opens a present. Ooh, it's a Notre Dame fleece blanket. Ooh, really nice. Or it's a Notre Dame robe, and then the next person opens their present and they're like, ooh, it's a mug. Yay! I have a lot of mugs. I want to trade it for her robe, and then they trade, and then the third person opens and ooh, it's a calendar. Da 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 da. I want that robe, and then the second person has to exchange, and it goes around like 20 or 30 people in a big circle, and presents may exchange hands 15 times, and it's really cool because it don't just end in that first circle. You might go around 2 or 3 times. I mean, this is like a 3 or 4 hour event. You're all sitting around, you're drinking, you're snacking on cookies or candy or whatever, and then people either keep their present or they want to change it for something else, or you know that was one of my favorites. not evening. Sheesh, I would have kept the mug. We do that white elephant thing at her family's get together. Me personally, I would have kept the mug too. But, when I find a new mug that I want, I have so many mugs now between, my Chucky mug and my Santa mug and my snowman mug and my mugs for in here and my skull mugs, you know, my ghost mug. Best officiant ever, from the wedding I done last year. This was in my thank you bag. Best officiant ever. Every time I find a new mug, the wife tells me I have to get rid of a mug. So I bring them in here. I've got a collection of mugs. Pewter mugs, ceramic mugs, wood mugs, horn mugs. God, I can't wait to uh, some fruit mead or some honey mead in that thing this year. Hopefully, my buddy Mike brews up some more blueberry mead before May. You better bet I'm going to take myself a a small cask or something of that with me. I collect coffee cups. That's what I was trying to do, was collect coffee cups. But when you have as much it laying around as I do, you run out of places for it. Now I do have the whole shelf up here that I've got all the different brands of Black Rifle coffee bags on. I might, box those up and start putting mugs up there. 'Cause I never have it. To me, I never have enough mugs. I just like looking at the different designs. I need to get all my mugs washed. I don't use them. They are just a collection. And I don't blame you. There's several of them I wouldn't. Hell, this one here used to have the dog man on the front. It's from Ghostorama 2021. Is that right? 20 2023. Here, you read it. You tell me. I think that says 2023. It's all a blur to me. So that's the funny thing about cataracts. You have a real hard time reading dark on light because the light just blurs and kind of starts to cover up the numbers. But if you have light on dark, as the white spreads out, you can still see the shape of the numbers and stuff. It's so weird. And if you're lucky enough to be looking at something that's like black digits on a green background or something, a light green background, there's no blurring hardly at all. So, but yeah, this used to have the whole dog man on the front. That was crit cut and put on. It I've used it so much it came off. So um, too quickly. Eh, mm, eh. I can somewhat agree with that. Um, Me personally, I want a big mug of coffee. And if you guys remember from, back when I would go out and do the reenactments, I had a large black mug that had like the YouTube that I cut in it with my grinder and stuff, and then colored it. And then I had a large white mug that was probably about yay big. I still have both of them. They're still packed in my camp gear, but they were twice the size of a coffee cup, two and a half times the size of a regular coffee mug. I'd fill that sucker up; it would stay hot forever. But that's my experience. Now, don't get me wrong. On a cool fall day or an early spring day, sitting outside camping, yeah, it'd cool off a little faster. But during summertime, when I'm drinking coffee and it's already 85 degrees outside, and at 7 o'clock in the morning, yeah, it stays hot pretty well. And then when the sun comes up, this stuff never gets cold. Ah, come here, you lovely. Oh, I don't know if you're still in here, Squatch, but sorry that I missed your live stream last night. Um, I never got a notification before it came on, but when I woke up this morning, I had two notifications on my phone that you had went live last night, and that's one thing I wanted to start doing, was spending more time on people's lives, interacting with folks. Uh, you need to have an open mic night. You need to have an open mic night because, frankly, you and I, uh, we do rather well doing a live stream together. We play well off each other. It's kind of like playing pickleball. We just tend to play well with each other, and I think it'd be very interesting. This the same as I want to have you on, one of my podcasts. Um, it's just fun. I use a large thermal bottle that is probably a pint and a half. Oh, that's very cool. It will keep coffee hot for about 6 hours, drinkable temp for 8 or so. Oh, that's cool. This damn hammer is going to kill me. Keeps getting stuck on the edge of the desk when I bend down. Well, I'm guessing that the daughter and the wife are not going to Grand Rapids today, since it's only uno momento por favor. Since it's only about 7 degrees right now, which really kind of sucks because her sister came, all the way up here to trade her vehicles yesterday, so they had heat driving all the way to Grand Rapids, which is, about a 2 hour trip one way. We need to find that kid doctors down here closer. It's just silly to me to spend 4 hours on the road for a 45-minute visit. And especially in weather like this, you know, that's just crazy. Um, I must put the trash out, so I will be right back. Oh, we might still be here. I'm in a talkative mood this morning. And we're showing 6 in the chat, which is always a good thing. Don't forget, guys and gals, we are doing. What the hell is wrong with this thing? Clicky. There we go. Um, don't forget, guys and gals, we are doing the Secret Santa thing again this year. I've got it running on both channels. This year, the recipient of the Secret Santa is going to be our historic log cabin museum, um, because of the expansion to the beach that the village is doing. They're expanding it clear down to the museum, so they have had the museum blocked off and fenced in all this year for construction crews coming in and out. And our museum does not run on state or federal funding. It runs strictly on the visitations and the donations that are made. So all the upkeep on this God, what, 103-year-old log cabin um, is done out of the donations that it gets from visitors every year. And it has had none this year. And you're dealing with 100-year-old shingles. You're dealing with 100-year-old um, hard strewn planks that are cut out of trees and stuff. The logs that went in to the main part of this museum were all cut from the farms of the founding families um, of of the village. So, it needs upkeep on the chinking, it needs upkeep on the planks, upkeep on the windows, upkeep on the roof. Last year, they detected some termite activity on the balcony above the main entrance, um, wood bees, etc. So, it could use some help. And, the museum board, um, quite honestly, doesn't donate money. A lot of them are from Camp Ritchie folk out here, and they just want to be able to say, hey, I'm on the board of dot, dot, dot. When I done my primitive encampment over at the museum, my first year here, um, it took them 6 months just to figure out what color they wanted the t-shirts to be that they were selling at my event to make money for the museum. And go figure, it turned out to be white letters on a gray t-shirt. But it took them 6 months. They meet once a month on the third Thursday of each month. And it took them 6 visits or 6 meetings to figure out what color they wanted the bloody damn t-shirts. And then somebody just made the things at home. So, yeah. Thanks for the lesson, Drew. I appreciate it. Who? Oh, you're fine, Stephen. Anytime, bud. You know, I'm always here if you need me, and that goes for everybody. You know, if you've got Facebook, or even if you don't got Facebook, you just get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger and look for Drew Ellsworth McCrae. It's the same picture that is on the profile or on the channels here, so I'm easy to find, and you can message me. I'm always up for a chat. I don't care if I'm busy or not. I'm always up for a chat, video chat, whatever the case may be. Um, damn, 80 pounds of garbage can and 10 inches of frozen snow is real. I went through that last night. The wife didn't get off work till 8, didn't get home till almost 9. So, I got the little bit of dishes done that were in here, and had the daughter run through the house and get all the trash cans dumped into a big trash bag, and took it out last night and walked it down the hill, into the alley, out of the driveway, and out to the road. And we had so much snow I couldn't put it in the yard, so I just put it at the edge of the alley by the road. And I've not heard a trash truck run yet today. So it better not sit out there. Bunch of stray animals up in my trash can and stuff. The trash guy does a bad enough job getting it all in the truck. I don't need the animals helping him. But yeah, it was definitely a bear walking down the hill, um, dragging an over full. I mean, the lid's sticking up about yay far. I pressed the bags down as far as I could yesterday. Um, but yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. It's going to be a very interesting winter, y'all. It's going to be very interesting. Uh, between between the temperatures like they are today, uh, like I said earlier, it was 1 degree this morning when we started, with a 6 mile an hour wind coming out of the northeast, which put our wind chill at about -5. Um, between the temperatures and the snow and stuff, it is going to be a very, very interesting winter, here in Southwest Michigan and multiple other places in the Midwest, and even Tennessee. Mom and Dad left yesterday morning. Left my sister's house yesterday morning about 9 a.m., which would have put them getting home normally about 9 p.m. last night. Uh, but with the temperatures and stuff the way they've been this last week, and the snowfall reaching clear down to Indianapolis and everything, I haven't talked to them yet today. I'm going to call them when we're done here and find out when they got in. But I would guess, between the freezing temperatures in Kentucky and all the way down to the Nashville area, I would say it's probably going to be. I'm going to guess. 11:30 last night. Because, not only have you got the cold temperatures, but smart people, when you're driving through the hills and on those curvy highways and stuff as you're getting into the mountains, a logical person would think, hey, I may want to slow down just a hair. Get a nice little pace going through the passes and stuff like that. And then you've got your professional drivers that know better. They know better than logic. And they may blow past you at 70 miles an hour going up a mountain, and somewhere along the top of that mountain or just over the peak coming back down, you see them, the front of their car in a mountainside, obliterated, and there's a line of cars behind them. I remember when I was 12 years old, we were heading down to North Carolina to see my aunt and uncle, and we saw a Corvette Stingray blow past us. And we don't know if they hit rocks that had come down off the mountain or what the deal was, but it wasn't 15 miles ahead. We saw that brand new Corvette all crinkled up, laying against a mountainside, a stone face along the highway, and the whole front end had exploded on it on impact. Um, really cool to see the frame and the exposed tires and you know everything where the front end completely came off that car on impact. But the people were okay. They were standing out along the car, hitting the back end of the car and screaming as we drove by. So I bet they had to clean that car up with a Kirby. There was so many little pieces of fiberglass everywhere. It was funny. My dad just laughed and said, "Yep, bet you slow down a little bit in the next one." Winter's no different. People think they know better than logic, and sometimes they learn the hard way. Um, seems like it was. Seems like if we have already had more snow than all the last winter. Yeah, same thing here, Tony. It seems exactly like that here. We'll see. Well, we got about 8 inches of snow. Then it rained a bit, which stops blowing snow. But the next day, we got another 4 inches and had blowing and drifting for the next 2 mornings. Vets are fragile, or maybe fragnable is yeah, that's a much better word. Um, Down in central Indiana, when I was down there, we had like what they would consider blizzard-like conditions. I mean, it snowed heavy and it was big flakes. But like I said, it only dumped a couple inches or so, and then on Thanksgiving Day or on Friday following Thanksgiving, it was just flurries all day. They weren't heavy, they weren't big, just little teeny tiny poofs of snow. Now up here we had almost a foot of snow that dropped, and that was on Thanksgiving. And up here, our counties and stuff will take care of the highways. but they don't come through and do any of our secondary roads in town. They don't do anything like that. And they don't take care of any of the secondary roads out in the country until the storm is over and they know they're not just wasting gasoline. Um, but after the main snow on Thanksgiving, then we had lake effect snow that came through. No, I take that back. It was only about 8 inches they got on Thanksgiving. Then they had lake effect snow that came through, and on Friday, and then Saturday started the next round of storms, which came through, and it gave us a total of about 18 inches. We're up to about 20 inches right now, 22 inches, almost 2 feet of snow out there right now. Snow is sitting yay high on our deck table out here on the back deck. And it flurried a little bit yesterday, and I don't think it's supposed to do anything again until tomorrow. So later today, tonight, tomorrow, I think is when the next round of maybes are going to roll through from northwest of us. It was it was kind of strange here whenever I went to refill cup or pee. It never seemed to be snowing much, but my footprints were covered each time I went in. It didn't seem like it was snowing much here yesterday, uh, but I was really surprised when I went to take the trash out last night that everything that had been shoveled on the back deck was covered up. I mean, we didn't even try to cut through the ice and stuff with that cheap plastic broken snow shovel we have because somebody thought they would help themselves to our uh, aluminum snow shovel that her grandfather built 22 years ago. Had square stock for the handle, had a nice, great big flat plate with sides welded on it and stuff for the scooper. They apparently wanted it more than we did. So they appropriated it and left us with the old broken plastic one that bends whenever you try to shovel heavy snow with it. Um, but we cut a path through the snow to the steps on the deck from the back door. And it was all covered by the time the wife got home last night. I was out there trying to keep it shoveled off for her so she didn't have to walk through it and track it in. But every time we opened that back door, it was covered back up. It's really funny how the the little flurries uh, seem they're very deceptive. When you have big snowflakes coming down heavy, you expect them to cover things. But the ones you can barely see with the naked eye, or in my case, can't see at all, um, you have to gauge how it's going to be by looking at the ground and saying, hey, all that brown's covered up. It's all white now. And then you go out and you step in it and you listen to the crunch and you can tell how much snow's out there. So it's time to either sweep it off the deck or try to shovel it again. But we've not had to worry about the rain or anything. It's been below freezing here every day since last Wednesday. So yeah, it's well for over a week now. Week this Wednesday will be 2 weeks. We've been below freezing the whole time. So yeah, we don't have to worry about rain. Um, We had about 14 inches here. That sounds like a heart attack with a handle. Dude, I love that shovel. And I really honestly wish I could find somebody around here that does aluminum work. I'd have them build another one. I mean, this thing was, yeah, 24 inches, and the sides came down to about an inch, inch and a half, and went all the way up to about 4 inches. And then the back of the blade was 4 inches across. And then it had a piece of 2x2 square stock that was welded on the back of the blade itself, that was 4 feet long. And then he had a regular handle that he made square stock on the top, and flat pieces on the sides that he bent, and which that is what he done for a living. He was a union welder for 20 years. Um, and so when he retired, he that's what he continued. He either done welding or he done woodwork. We have a lot of tables here in the house that he built 20 some odd years ago. And don't forget, he died this year, will be 23 years. Um, so we have a lot of stuff here that was made, you know, from the time the wife was born in 80 up until he passed away in like yeah, 2001, 2002. So he built them good. He built them sturdy, that's for sure. He knew his woodworking. That's why I'd like to get the bathrooms done for the wife. You know, get them painted, get the woodwork redone in them and stuff. Because he built all kinds of nautical stuff, wooden anchors, wooden lighthouses, stuff like that, um, for her home. And he didn't realize at that time that his home was going to become her home. Um, but I want to get her bathrooms redone and get the wave uh, scenes and stuff painted on the walls, and um, get the chair railings and stuff put up. And I got some really good ideas from my sister's house when I was down there, of ways to you really highlight the bathrooms and make them look pretty. Uh, but I want to get her nautical stuff put up that Grandpa made. That's just sitting out in the shed, serving no purpose. Shelves, like I said, he made anchors with actual anchor rope on them. Lighthouses. He's got one out there that I could actually cut the windows out of, and I want to put some kind of a little blinking light, just a real soft blinking light up in it, so it actually kind of, lights up the room a little bit. It was about it was about 33 when it rained, and it rained less than a tenth. It was just enough to put a cap on the snow. Yeah, we've not had to deal with that rain yet, thank God. Oh, what time is it? 20 minutes till 11 here. Uh, we'll run to 11. What the hell? What's 3 hours out of a morning? Oops. I got to get my I got to get my coat and stuff back over to the mother-in-law and have her have her find one of her friends that can sew. I've got my patches that need to go on my expedition coat and stuff like that. I can't sew. Hell, I can't even see the eye of the needle to get the thread through it, let alone stitch. I'm trying to up the game in 2026, y'all. Trying to up the game for this channel, trying to up the game for the other channel, and I ain't giving up on that dream. Somehow, some way, one day, uh, you will be able to stream our investigations. Yeah, it 8 inches, snow, 25-mile-per-hour wind with gusts to 35 would have been a nightmare. I can't see the eye of a needle either. Yeah, that's what our weather was like last weekend. Um, we were having, well, when I left the day before Thanksgiving, we had 60-mile-an-hour winds at the lake shore, which is 30, 35 miles west of us. But for this county, they were showing 45 or 35-mile-per-hour winds with gusts up to 55 mph. And believe you me, driving south on 31 out of South Bend, heading down to central Indiana, when we got in those big open areas, you felt that wind. You felt that wind. We seen a couple semis that would come out of a wooded area to an open field, and that whole semi would do this. So, needless to say, we kept our speed down and stayed behind them just in case. And when they finally got it stabilized, we got past them as quick as we possibly could. We did not want to be part of a catastrophe on the highway. What's that? Also, you guys know I'm all about promoting other channels. Um, there's a fella here on YouTube, and his channel name is Max Velocity. Max Velocity. I have been watching him for 2 years, and of all the weathermen, even the ones from our local stations and stuff, I can set my clock to max velocity. He is brand new, uh, fresh out of meteorological school, and I know we always say that meteorological studies is a guessing game. If that's the case, then I'm going to start having Max uh, place bets on winning Super Bowls and stuff for me, because this guy is good. I have, in 2 years, I have never seen a forecast wrong by him. He is located in eastern Kentucky, and this guy knows his business. Honest to God, he knows his business. I would definitely go over and check out Max Velocity on YouTube, and I would subscribe. Honestly, I get sometimes two or three reports a day out of him. Plus, during the summer and fall, when there's a lot of storm activity, he has got storm chasers everywhere that report to him, and they do a lot of live chasing and stuff on his channels. So just to let people know where these things are at, what they're doing, what direction they're moving. Storm forecast. He will start a winter forecast 2 months before the first snowflake falls, and be damned if he is not dead on every time. Every time. And he's not one of these for sure kind of meteorologists. Yeah, say that 3 times really fast. He's not one of these dead on. He will flat out tell you, depending on what this El Nino does, or what this El Nino does, or La Nina, depending upon how far down the jet stream droops, it could be this or it could be that. He's not one of these dead on guys like we see on TV that says, well, it's definitely gonna blah blah blah, and then nothing happens. Or it's definitely going to do this, or it's definitely going to do that. Um, he's it could, it might, depending upon this action or that action. So, like I said, 12 months out of the year, this guy has never been wrong. I would definitely check him out. Um, I can't see. I can snow drifting. The topography of the area is good for making 10-20 foot drifts on roads. Oh wow. I think that I have made the best, most versatile Strat guitar I've ever had, pretty much by accident. Oh, that's cool. It's the best sounding guitar I have ever played, without doubt. Dead on, you must mean dead wrong. No, I mean dead on. Like I said, I can set my clocks by this guy. If he says by noon tomorrow, you could very possibly see this, at noon, I could walk out there and I'm seeing it. Well, this storm should be over by 5 p.m., or moved out of this area by 5 p.m. And we get hit by a storm at 3, and we have high winds, and we have thunder and lightning, and we have a downpour. But by God, at 5 p.m., I can go to the back door and look out, and the lightning is all over to the east, and it has stopped here. So, because he breaks up the country, he breaks up the Midwest, he breaks up the Great Lakes, he breaks up the heartland, he breaks up the Northeast, and yeah, yeah, I really like this kid. He's good, and he's young, and he's still got a lot of learning to do. but he has developed some methods that is just incredible. I don't remember ever talking about anybody but Max because he's the only one I watch. He was the one I mentioned here 2 weeks ago about saying that we were going to have these these polar polar vortexes coming down and dropping our temperatures into the single digits and below zero temps before Christmas. Uh, Max is the only one I watch, so I had to have been talking about Max as in being overly specific. Was just 5 minutes ago. That's Max. It's the same guy, Max Velocity. Um, yeah, he's the only one I watch. I don't watch TV. I don't watch any other forecasters. It was definitely Max I was talking about. Um, he is super, super good. It was in reference forecast style, not accuracy. It was comparing Max to others. I might have been comparing him, but yeah, I don't remember saying that I liked anybody else because I don't watch anybody else anymore. Like I said, I started watching him 2 years ago, and he has been dead on. Now, he will have, like I said, he will have storm chaser uh, groups um, that are part of his organization that chase all over um, the southwest, the Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Heartland, uh, and yeah, he covers it all, and he covers it with more accuracy than I've ever seen out of anybody. No, you didn't say when it was liking his style as opposed to others. Yeah, I've watched guys in the past. Um, I've watched guys in the past until I found him. And, once I found him, I realized that the way he does it, you have forecasters on TV, National Weather Service and stuff like that, and they will say, this could happen at this time. This might happen depending upon how this flow does and stuff like that. Um, but they will say, we're gonna see, or this is gonna, or he is the one who throws in that might, could, should, possibly, nothing. And like I said, when he says it's going to hit a certain area at a certain time, it hits a certain area at a certain time. I think you mean that other forecasters are overly focused on a specific thing. That's a good possibility. I know they're overly focused on being right, but none of us can forecast exactly what Mother Nature is going to do or when she's going to do it. But out of all of them I've viewed in the past, he is uh, real close to having a psychic connection with Mother Nature. And maybe it's the difference between being a local meteorologist and focusing on your specific viewing area. But he explains everything um, in not just in a scientific lingo. He explains everything in dummy language that I can understand. And me and the wife will have many arguments. Her mom will watch a local meteorologist, and she'll message and say, "Oh, it's gonna this tomorrow, or it's gonna that." She just did it last night. She sent her a message, said, "Hey, you guys be careful if you go to Grand Rapids in the morning. It's supposed to be like really chilly. Temperatures are gonna hit, -5 or -10 degrees." And I told the wife, I said, "I was just telling you 5 minutes ago it's going to be 1 degree from 5 a.m. till about 9 a.m. And then it's going to slowly creep up. We're not going to get out of the teens all day tomorrow. Wind chills are going to hit right about -5, -6. But we're not going to see ambient temperature below zero." And sure enough, we were at 2 degrees, um, the 2 to 3 degrees through the night, and at about 5 a.m. or so, it dropped to 1 degree, and it stayed there until almost 9 o'clock. And we are up to 11 degrees right now. So, yay. This past winter storm forecast was very accurate for a change. Yep. And it is just going to continue to accurate. 17. Yeah, you're a big whopping 6 degrees warmer than we are. Heat wave. Well, I'll tell you what, you can feel the cold coming from this window. I mean, the wind's not blowing or anything, but you can feel the cold coming in. I can't imagine what it feels like outside. I'm actually really kind of glad that the wife and daughter did not make that trip to Grand Rapids this morning. We should be. We should be 100 miles south. I'm in a garage. I get the cold draft concept. It feels like cold. Uh huh, exactly. Felt like it was 0 when I started the truck at 6:15. Yep. Yeah, they're forecasting below normal temperatures, above normal snowfall for the whole Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, uh, Indiana, everything. Um, definitely, definitely going to be an interesting winter. And they say we're not even in the hard part of winter yet. That don't start till after the first of the year. So if it's like this now, what's it going to be like a month from now or a month and a half from now? Hell, for all we know, we could see the winter of 78 all over again. I have had all the snow I need for this season. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the snow. I think the snow is pretty. I like roughing it. I like going out and camping in this kind of weather. I know how to keep warm, but no, no. And winter's just started. Well, when I was a kid, we got a fair bit of play. Then January and February, it was too cold to play long. Oh yeah, definitely so. Definitely, I remember those days. Play in the snow in December. Yeah. But all right, guys and gals, we have three folks in here. It is after 11. I need to call mom and dad, make sure they made it home safe, and get to work. So, wife is going to be here all day. Kids are going to be here all day. They already got called. They already took the day off for that trip to Grand Rapids. It's not going to happen now. Um, which means I got the wife here 2 days in a row. Oh, God, pray for me. But, oh, and there's another comment. Take care, folks, and thanks for the extra time. Definitely so. Anytime, Tony. But, you guys all take care of yourselves. Stay warm. It is going to be, uh, it's going to be a few, very cool next couple of months. So, y'all just be safe. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. I do. And God provide, I'll be here next Monday. So y'all take care and we'll see you later. And then we'll try to blindly hit this. It's somewhere in this area up here. There we got it.